Shalom, everybody. Yes, good day. Day number 2 in the Sukkah has been awesome. Sukkot 2016 has been wonderful. We've had some wonderful guests and some wonderful family time, and we're just celebrating life. We're giving thanks to Yahweh, the Creator of heaven and earth, who's made it possible. We give thanks as we see here. The scriptures written on the wall, and that we should build a sukkah. That the Israelites, when they came out of Babylon, back to the land of Israel, to Jerusalem. They read in the Torah that they were to go on at this time in the 7th month to go and build a sukkah. And now today, anyways, yesterday we talked about keeping a joy in the sukkah. So keeping it a joy, letting it be positive. And one of the things that hampers the joy is when people begin to judge one another. And so we find out that there's all these people out there judging people. You don't keep it at the right time, and you have people out there making up new ways to find out when the feast days are, and all these things. There's so much confusion, and I'm not going to get into a calendar debate right now. But if you want the truth is simple, and the truth will set you free. And don't follow men. I'll tell you that first of all. Let's not follow mankind. Let's not follow men. Let's follow the Almighty. His word is clear, and it's our responsibility to diligently search for the truth and to not trust in the doctrines of divinity and the reverends and the rabbis and these things. Though it's good, it's fine to conversate with people and hear different perspectives, but the word of the Most High is the standard as far as I'm concerned, and He inspired His prophets and His apostles. Yahweh inspired His prophets and apostles to write these things. The ones who wrote these things down and inscribed them down. To this day, we have a beautiful scripture from Genesis or Bereshit to Revelations, also the Apocalypse, the book of Revelations. And so anyways, we're keeping the joy in the sukkah. The pictures and foreshadows of the sukkah, what this is talking about, it takes us back to the Exodus. It takes us back to the time when we were delivered from slavery. And the first, coming out of Egypt, they went to a place called Sukkot. And even that, on the journey towards the promised land. And so this is such a beautiful thing that we live in temporary structures. We also can look at our forefather Abraham. He lived in temporary structures. He lived in tents while his whole life. He never even inherited the promised land. So Abraham's blessing comes here as he must return to get his reward. And that's why we say prophets return. The prophets will return, and we know that even it's written, Eliyahu the prophet will return before the great and terrible day of Yahweh, which is near, my brothers and sisters. So keep your eyes open. So keeping the joy in the sukkah, day number 2, a message towards those that judge and condemn one another and say you keeping it the wrong month, and everybody thinks they're the professional, they're the only ones, their congregation is the one that has the corner on the market, so to speak. You got it all figured out. And you want to go to other people's social media sites and all these things and tell people that they're wrong and they're not going to. Actually, I was even told I wasn't going to have a blessing because I was keeping the feast at the wrong time. And I'm like, who is this person telling someone they're not going to have a blessing? They don't even know me. Anyways, we're doing our best to understand and apply the word and to rightly divide the word of truth. If you don't think it's right, that's fine. You have your own actual responsibility to search these matters out for yourself. Sometimes people stumble wise. Sometimes, you might think you have something down, and you realize through more study, you actually understand more. And so as the light gets brighter, you make even better steps. So we are on a path towards more and more understanding. But the people that judge and condemn people in the way that they keep the festivals are some of the people that it's obvious they don't have the Ruach HaKadosh, because they're judging people in an unjust manner. Because the judgments of the Almighty are right, and they're right rulings. And so when you see people striving to obey the commandments to the best of their ability, this is not the place to judge someone. But anyways, getting into these things, I am very disappointed to see certain scripture teachers, I believe, misleading their congregations and having them keep the festivals at the obviously wrong times. And they know who they are, and we'll get into that at another time possibly. But even their congregations, if those people are following with all their heart, they have to look at the matters for themselves. Don't just follow your pastor because we know where that's led people. But in general, I know I'm kind of ranting on this right now, but I want to look at a very deep misconception, because we have um, Christians and other people with a type of replacement theology, or that the Messiah has come so that no longer do we need to do these things. Why would you, I've been asked, why would you do these old things? Those were done away with. We don't need those things anymore. And I think, why would you not? But anyways, I wonder where they get this. And I think it comes from an erroneous translation. And I'm going to read it. It's the Revised Standard, or it's also, I think, in the New Revised Standard. It says Colossians 2:16 and 17 we're going to read. And I'm going to read it in the New Revised. I'm pretty sure it's New Revised. It says here, therefore, do not let anyone condemn you in the matters of food and drink, or observing festivals, the new moons, or the Sabbaths. So that's good. Don't let anyone condemn you in this. And in your observation of it. Okay? And I'm not going to try to get into all the Greek and what it all means. We're just going to keep it simple here. Verse 17 is where I have a problem with this translation. It says, these are only a shadow of what is to come, but the substance belongs to Messiah, or Christ, as they say. Okay, so now we're looking at this. These are only the Sabbaths, the festivals, the new moons. These are only a shadow of what is to come. That's all it is, according to the Revised Standard and the New Revised Standard, Colossians 2:17. So let's go over and look at the Greek. The Greek says, which is a shadow of things to come, okay? Or which are a shadow of things to come. Not only a shadow of things to come, but they are a shadow of things to come. These are prophetic pictures. In the Sukkah is a picture. So we're thinking back to the Exodus, but we're also looking forward. There's something more to come. So what did the Messiah come and have to do with, leaving your house and coming to a Sukkah? How did he get rid of that? Can someone explain it to me? No. He told us in Matthew 24:14, 15, and 16. He says, the good news of the kingdom will be spread throughout the earth as a witness unto all nations, and then the end will come. And I'm just paraphrasing, but when you see the abomination of desolation that the prophet Daniel spoke of, standing in the set apart place, the holy place, let the reader understand. Matthew the scribe wrote that in there. He said, those that are in Judea, or those that are Yehuda, those that are Yah's people, must flee to the mountains. And Jeremiah, he also talked about a greater exodus. So there's something foreshadowed in keeping these things that's for the generation in the last days, the generation that will come through the great tribulation. They're going to have to leave and live in the sukkahs. Now there's more. I want to teach more about this, share more about this, but just getting back to this, that let no one condemn you. They're right in the New Revised Standard. Therefore, let not anyone judge you. In the Greek it says. So go and get your New Revised Standard and see that actually they added the word only. And so in the Greek it says which are only, that's the New Revised, which are, or which is a shadow of coming things. Okay, so you can look it up in different translations. This is another Greek text, the emphasized diaglott. It says here, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body of the Messiah. But the body they added is Messiah's. So instead of getting what is the substance belongs to the Messiah and all this stuff, there's many ways that one could look at that. And we're not going to break down all the Greek right now, but just to think that someone who did the New Revised Standard, and this is a really nice translation because it has the Greek and English interlinear, and it has the New Revised Standard to reflect off of. But they added the word only. So if you see in verse 17, Colossians 2:17, these are only a shadow of things. That's why people are upset when you're keeping the festivals, because they think that's all it is. But my brothers and sisters, it's obeying the word of the Almighty. It's the living word of the Almighty. And when we live the word, we are blessed. There's so many blessings in it. And it's a picture of things to come. We can obey. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Let us love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Let us glorify our Creator by having nothing but joy in the Sukkah, and let not anyone condemn you, and don't worry about the judgments of man, because they are always off, and Yah is always just. I love you all. It's from day number 2 in the Sukkah. Sin and love. Shalom, 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 shalom.